It's easy to laugh at Steven Seagal now that he's a washed-up, narcissistic, barely moving, Putin-loving liar.
Allegedly!
And it seems to be trendy for people to trash him. Disgusting if you ask me, but here we are. How many of you can honestly tell me that you didn't love his movies back in the early days, before he spent 90% of his 10-minute appearance seated?
Anybody seen Richie? Huh?
Above the Law, Out for Justice, Marked for Death, and today's little chestnut, Hard to Kill. The movie where he gets to repeatedly grope Kelly LeBrock and live out the dream of every teenage boy from the 80s and 90s.
You've been dreaming about this for a long time, haven't you?
Yup!
Big Daddy plays Mason Storm, a dude with a badass name,
Mason Storm.
And
the greatest stride in theatrical history.
You run like a girl.
In the opening scene, some stuff happens with the mob and some other bloke, but we get our first glimpse at the aforementioned awesome running with the ostrich stride of Big Daddy Bambi feet. While Seagal stands around and expresses a wide range of emotions, this old knob attacks the guy holding a shotgun, and, well, let's see if you can tell by Seagal's face what happened next. A. The old guy got shot. B. These guys ate the last cookie right in front of his face. C. The old guy flashed his cock. Or D. It's impossible to tell because every expression looks the same. The truth isn't really important. Leave your answer in the comments below.
I try not to act, you know. I think the most important thing in acting is to not act.
Sensei asked the little Hispanic fella to leave some mayonnaise all over his face.
Well, come on.
Gloats about the size of his sausage and meatballs.
Mine's bigger than yours, right?
And then gets on his hands and knees to receive that very...
Come, I'll get down on my knees. Is this any better?
Big Daddy Bellybuster's going home to claim his wife's bananas, but farts in the car, and even he is disgusted by the smells being emitted. Cookies and angel dust create a pungent odor.
I smoke the crack.
This lucky young lady gets to stroke Seagal's ponytail before he goes in for what is almost certainly an unscripted over-the-clothes butt squeeze.
Plus,
Then a flesh-to-flesh butt squeeze. He gives her a breast cancer screening with his hands in his mouth because he's nothing if not professional, damn it, before some racist bad guys break in and shoot the white woman for sleeping with a Native American, Italian, French, Russian, Mongolian, Asian warthog. Fast forward 7 years, and Kelly LeBrock has had to stare at Seagal's juicy man meat, and eventually, she caves in.
See, what can I do for you here?
No human can resist the lure of Seagal's squinty eyes and naturally offers up her minge as payment,
Would you like little pussy, JD?
Just a little bitty pussy.
and then drools at the thought of Big Daddy Diamond Dong's dong.
Besides, you've got so much to live for. Please wake up.
Somehow Seagal managed to smuggle in
Some drugs and some women.
and starts reacting after snorting some of that good stuff. Also, I did not know that young Hank from Breaking Bad was in this movie, but he somehow still looks 45.
boom.
It seems that Seagal coming out of a coma delivers dialogue in a very similar fashion to post-2015 Sensei Mumblefat.
I'm a cop. My wife and family were murdered.
298 frozen patties later.
This is called Rosability Long Visit.
An assassin lays waste to the hospital as he hunts for Seagal, who, once again, after coming out of a coma, is still more nimble than the last 20 years. And far more active.
And we're gonna have to...
Okay, yeah, let's sit down. No.
Let's take a break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Good to see workplace safety is a priority in hospitals. LeBrock reinforces the stereotype that ladies can't drive for shit by crashing whenever possible, but does manage to get Sensei Thunder Thighs away to safety. Whilst recovering somewhere in the mountains, Big Daddy relaxes while he watches Geraldo. Sorry, Latin Sensei. Geraldo. Kelly and Seagal both take a moment to laugh at the size of Jean-Claude Van Damme's tiny pee-pee. before Sensei scribbles down some Chinese stuff and brags about how easy it is to assault stuntmen,
To hurt people is easy.
and how one day he will be a god. You've all been warned.
I want to be great.
All this happens with sexy background music and Kelly LeBrock ready to mount Sensei Seagal's chorizo. They begin training for his future as a gimp, limp, lazy sloth who spends most of his time seated,
That's enough. Why don't you go sit down?
and transition to Sensei Samurai doing his max bench press and then shitting his pants. Pumping out 1 kilogram lateral raises.
Yeah, buddy!
Sitting around shirtless with his 12-year-old prepubescent body.
Yeah, buddy!
Acting like a mong stabbing a tree.
Lightweight!
The montage intensifies and Big Papa Purple Nips teases us with his jacked and svelte physique. Ladies, now's the time to change your panties before we move on. I think I spoke too soon. The montage gets even hotter. He's doing the full stack now. Horrible form, but he is moving that weight while he sweats. And of course, no training montage is complete without jazz hands running and sitting atop a mountain with your legs akimbo. Be sure to take a whiff of how awesome your own shit smells.
Mason Storm.
He swats some flies away with sticks before Kelly LeBrock comes in and he grabs a lot more ass and titties than earlier. They were married at the time, and given his track history, this is about as consensual as it gets for Seagal.
Allegedly.
None of that really matters because the next scene shows me this.
Big energy.
His giant meat bag stuffed into a sausage casing that's throbbing and ready to burst.
I would like you a lot less if you had a dick, especially if it was bigger than mine.
I don't think that's possible.
He meets up with his ex-captain O'Malley for some chit-chat, but what really steals the show here, other than Seagal's great acting,
Where is he? Is he safe?
is his magnificent hair that has a persona of its own.
No words.
O'Malley tells Seagal he's never seen someone with such a magnificent strange piece of carbon matter atop someone's head, and Seagal concurs.
You were not wrong, my friend. You were not wrong.
More of this, which is brilliant.
I am too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love, love's going to leave me.
And then he says it. He says the line we've all been waiting for.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Tread. To the blood bank.
The brilliance of this scene is not the dialogue itself, but the conviction and facial expression of Sensei Shakespeare. And of course that stupid Terminator music afterwards. I did tell you guys he was a king of facial expressions.
Well, I guess the truth of the matter is that the president of Warner Brothers was a friend of mine, and he had been very interested in me as an actor for a long time. He felt that I was very charismatic and that I had a look.
The bad guys attack them as they're about to leave and escape machine gun fire by simply ducking down. Luckily, Hank and his mates shoot where they would have been if they were standing, rather than shooting lower and eviscerating them. Movie stuff. This henchman has a perfect opportunity to just slit Seagal's throat right then and there. Done. Finished. That is the objective, right? You've been shooting at him trying to kill him for the last half an hour. Just gut him like a pig. Instead, he rolls up, grabs Seagal by the shoulder, and then gets bitch slapped. He gets bitch slapped while Kelly LeBrock does whatever she's doing. And then all of these stuntmen almost certainly ended up in hospital because this was Seagal's total dickhead assaulting people phase. Let's go. That's why Kelly LeBrock's crying. This wasn't even in the script. O'Malley seems to have also attended the Sensei School of No-Look Shooting and graduated top of the class. Coincidentally, Seagal pulls in and sees his kid being chased, so we get a series of awesome events. Big Daddy and his graceful galloping.
Yes, I clearly remember doing this scene
I was in my physical prime, my hair was great, my facial expressions were on point, and my arms were flailing like an inflatable arm flailing tube man, or some gay Euro trash in a disco. I definitely love the f*** out of cookies, and I would love to bang your 18-year-old daughter.
He catches up to this guy and trips him with this Aikido technique he's been perfecting for 75 years. And proceeds to wail on this man for being more ethnic looking than himself. This was still early era Seagal, so there was no contract stipulation that he cannot get hit or lose a fight.
Don't do that.
But the real loser, if you ask me, was the Chinese food stall vendor who had his entire livelihood ruined by these two wankers. Seagal then just goes ahead and murders this bloke in front of a crowd of people because the 80s were awesome. He's not quite done ruining the life of Chinese people yet though. He steals this bloke's van so he can go and cash that check he was talking about earlier.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
Now it becomes clear why he's really after the senator. The senator stole the young piece of trim that Seagal called dibs on. We do get to see some 80s ass though.
Oh, yeah.
He overrides the high-tech security system of the senator by just breaking a window and wandering in on these bad guys, and decides he wants to show off his snooker skills.
Mind if I play? Well, somebody hand me a cue.
Styx's younger brother gets his ass handed to him before we get one of his awesome old-school action lines before the hero kills a bad dude.
It's for my wife. F*** you and die.
He also finds time to drop some Marcus Aurelius deep thinking shit on a chair, but then ruins it with this stupid gibberish.
Now you're a good cop.
Mason Storm.
He finally gets to the senator and tries to take him to the bank, but the cops arrive and spoil the deposit. Everything ends nicely for Big Daddy, and he goes home to plow Kelly LeBrock until they're divorced 6 years later. Above the Law was one of the early films that made Big Daddy Chocolate Cake a household name. It may have all gone downhill after Under Siege, but he had a pretty damn awesome run until then.
You're right about that.
If you enjoyed this and had a bit of a chuckle, please think about liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It instantly makes you a better person and more likely to have a bird shit on you, which we all know is good luck. The channel has no sponsors, so I'd like to thank the awesome community of Seagalians on YouTube and on Patreon for their continued support. You're all bloody legends, and I couldn't do this without you.
Thank you, Paul.
Also consider checking out the awesome range of merch, stacked with infamous quotes from Big Daddy and various other stuff guaranteed to make you instantly more alpha. Until next time, my friends, remember to wear extremely tight jeans that highlight your package. Definitely keep a resting face that looks like you've smelt a fart, but above all, stay awesome. Peace, legends.
Sunshine bright in the sky, and I'm free when I close my eyes. Help me wash away my sorrow.